Hey guys, before we start this episode of Role Models, there's something really important that I wanted to let you know about. It's the Diecast Model Expo. Held from the 19th to the 21st of September in Melbourne, it's going to be a really exciting opportunity to catch up with all the latest happenings in the diecast industry. We'll be there, we'll have plenty of samples and things that you may not have seen before, and there's going to be a couple of special models that are available for purchase at the event as well. So, if you want to know more information, get onto our website at authenticcollectables.com.au or head to the Expo website at diecastexpo.com.au. Now, let's start the pod.
Hello and welcome to the Role Models podcast filmed at Authentic Collectables HQ in Perth, Western Australia. I'm Andrew van Leeuwen, and as usual, I'm joined by Authentic Collectables Kingpin, William Hall. William, how are you today?
Yeah, not too bad. Too bad. You over your travel. It's been a busy week.
Yeah, we somehow managed to turn the Ipswich Super 440 into a bigger trip than the Bathurst 1000, which I'm still slightly confused as to how that happened. But I guess when you've got a race meeting that rolls into we had a Speedcafe partner day, and then into a test day, and then into a ride day that I didn't even attend, but still didn't get home until the Wednesday afternoon or something like that. So it's
a long old week.
It was a long old week, but it was a fun week. We'll get onto all of that in a moment. Let's just quickly cover off the code word.
Housekeeping, yes.
Yep. So if you are watching this you need to watch this on YouTube if you do want your chance to win a $250 gift card for the Authentic Collectables shop. So let's cover off our code word winner from last week. It was at Mark Mills 966.5, and his comment was, the audience attendance at the track on Friday at the NTI Townsville 500 was a lot better than usual. I agree, they are starting to build a great event for everyone. A lot of activation everywhere. The PBR went off. I think we did cover this off before. It was great. The bull riding was absolutely fantastic. So audience was obviously the code word there. For this episode, make sure you watch on YouTube. Keep an eye out. It will flash up on the screen at some point. Leave us a comment under the episode using the code word for your chance to win a $250 gift card. All right, what have you got for us in terms of new releases?
So it's been a busy old month. We started with a bit of a website exclusive.
Oh, wow.
So a few people spotted...
That's normally my domain. That's what I normally try and get a website exclusive.
I know, right? I know. I think the Wendy's car was here. Oh, it's right behind me, just here. So we released the Wendy's car. Only 96 of them on our website. They got snapped up so fast. It completely threw me by surprise. I had to turn it off very quickly so that I didn't sell too many than we had. So thank you for everyone that got their hands on one of those. We're actually dispatching them next week. So you'll if you managed to get your hands on one, they will be in your hand late next week, I would have thought. Then we moved into some old Holdens. Yep. Old in inverted commas. They're not that old. A couple of VEs. So our standard Heron White VE. And then the first in our sort of street custom range, Fresh Mint. So we got those out into stores, and if you ordered one on our website, you would already have them in your hands by now. And then back into supercar land. Yep. We had some New Zealand cars from 2024. Yep. So the two Shell V-Power cars, one of which won the Jason Richards Trophy. Yep. And the two Penrite cars too. So they ran their special silver NZ livery last year and looks kind of cool. So
with their all Kiwi lineup as well that they did have last year.
Correct. So they just went on the website. So be sure to get in quick to grab those. All 1/18th, obviously. And back to road car land. For the Ford side of things, we released our first Landau. So it was the Cosmic Blue Landau. So I think the last pod we were talking about the gold one that we announced, but this was the actual first one that we released.
Well, I think last time we were talking about the difference between a Landau and a Ford LTD.
Yes.
Which my parents had one of those, and I was going, geez, that car looks really familiar. So it turns out that the Landau was the two-door version of the LTD. Yeah. And they were otherwise pretty much the same car, which is why that sort of fancy grill and those I remember those hubcaps and everything. It's I remember it very well.
Just had a couple extra doors.
Yeah, so that's
kiddlywinks in the back of.
I'm sure people have been having sleepless nights trying to find some sort of resolution to this Landau LTD fiasco, and we've done it. We've solved the mystery.
So as I say, all on our website now. get into your local stockists and grab them. There'll be some floating around there. So website, stockists, go and get them.
All right, let's talk motorsport news from home and abroad. Ipswich back on the calendar and back with a bang. You were out there as well. What did you make of the grand return of Ipswich to the Supercars calendar?
So first time I'd been there for years, so I hadn't caught up with all the redevelopment.
Yeah, okay, so you hadn't seen it at all.
No,
yeah, right.
No. So last time I was at QR, I think was for the Gen 2 Mustang test.
Mm-hmm.
So first time that had hit the track. So.
Yep.
That's a while ago now. So yeah, hadn't seen any of the infrastructure change and what have you, and very impressed.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It really, really good. Again, everyone's spoken about the traffic and parking dramas.
Yep.
But again, we were talking about that in the 99.
Yeah.
The first time that everyone went. So not much has changed there.
No.
But what a good thing. To be having traffic problems actually means
there was people there.
There were people there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they'll improve some of that. I think the Saturday night in particular was really bad for people trying to get out of several of the car parks. I'm sure they'll improve on that. You'll always learn lessons when you do.
Well, and Saturday on the way in was a drama as well. So I think it was just Saturday in general maybe overwhelmed them a little bit.
Yeah.
Sunday seemed to flow much better. So I feel like
they had a workaround getting in and out where you could come in, I think, via sort of closer to Amberley around there and all that sort of stuff. So they'll learn from that. But at some point, you also just have to live with that. And Tony Quinn said that on the Sunday night when he was asked about it. He said, well, it'd be easily solved if there was less people here. Yeah. So it is just, I mean, when you go to a big event, you deal with crowds. And you have to queue up to get a coffee or a drink or whatever, and you have to queue up to get your food, and you might have to queue up to get out of the joint.
It's a ball like going to the MCG when there's 90,000 people.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna spend. I mean, of all the things I'd rather do, I'd rather still be sitting in my car, than be, stuck walking or stuck on a train or something. Anyway, so it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So no, the event was good. The hill was packed. Supercars has put out some fairly glowing crowd figures, but as much as there's always a bit of cream on them, they felt genuine enough.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't a complete piss take what they kind of went with because there was a bunch of people there.
Yeah.
So interesting to see what happens now. There was a lot of talk from James Warburton about the need for government support. That's the event that's on the chopping block if they can't come to an agreement if Supercars can't come to an agreement with the teams about a 14th round for next year because Ruapuna is locked in. That's the event that could go by the wayside because there was no government funding attached to it this year. So I guess there's kind of work to be done on two fronts. One is trying to secure a bit of support for the event, which would then make the negotiations with the teams about what the payment terms to go racing at another additional event are.
And I guess it's hard from that perspective, given that, it is sort of the third Queensland round, but it's servicing three very different, what feels like three very different markets.
Definitely. Yeah.
You could argue from a fan perspective that QR and Gold Coast are pretty close to each other, but
they're very different events.
And you're drawing a different crowd. Yeah. I think.
Yeah,
so, sure. But you're still trying to go to the same well in the Queensland government in terms of trying to get money. So,
and that's when we talk about, where's Winton, where's Phillip Island, all these sorts of it's the same issue with the amount of money that the Victorian government tips into the Australian Grand Prix.
Yep.
At some point, there's a limit to how much money they can spend on car racing.
Well, and the Queensland government are about to spend an absolute squillion on the Olympics too. So, to be wanting a bit of cash to go to QR.
Mm-hmm. But the play from Supercars was pretty clear. I mean, they haven't put crowd figures out for many events this year. No. And this was obviously one where they wanted to sort of say, hey, look, this works. Maybe help us out a little bit to make sure this thing can stay around.
Curious too that it was on the Ekka weekend.
Yeah.
I thought that was a bit, odd.
Yeah. Well, and they have this weird public holiday structure as well.
Yeah.
It's not quite uniform across the entire.
Yeah. Which I didn't appreciate. Didn't appreciate until we actually turned up at Queensland on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But again, just as an event, as a weekend, I
it's hard
ticked a whole heap of boxes.
Yeah, it's really hard to fault too much of it. It was good. What about the racing? That was where there were some question marks, particularly on the Sunday race around the safety car thing and all that sort of stuff. That's obviously been a huge talking point in the paddock. It was right through Tuesday at the test. It was really all anyone wanted to talk about is what are we going to do to fix this? Because as fun as it kind of was for a little while, where people cottoned on to the fact that, hey, if you run long and the safety car comes out at the right time and the 80K speed limit is on for long enough, you can bank both your spots and you can make a whole heap of ground and you can get to the finish and you give yourself a chance of staying there. It's kind of cute when it happens once or twice, but it's got to the point now where people go, well, hang on a minute. And all that's going to happen is teams are going to just actually play for it.
Yeah.
Like it just becomes the strategy now. And then once everyone's on the same strategy, you won't even get that movement.
No.
Like you won't even see someone come from the back and go to the front because everyone will just be hanging out for
doing
the
the
safety
same
car.
thing. Yeah. And the curious thing to me was why exactly was the limiter on for so long?
Yeah.
Like that was
it looked like a pretty routine kind of retrieval of a car in the gravel.
dirt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an old one. Look, there will be changes for Bathurst. Oh, sorry, well, I think for both endurance races.
Yeah.
I think there's a fairly, I think Supercars is pretty committed to working with Motorsport Australia to change how it works. Obviously, the issue is just the full course yellow.
Yeah. I can see the reasons why it's been brought in. Like I can completely see the reasoning. I can see why from the safety perspective and all of that sort of stuff. But there's got to be a middle ground somewhere that gets you your safety side, but also then doesn't completely ruin the show.
I think a full course yellow can work in like a practice, like when that bottle of brake fluid or whatever it was fell out of that car, right? Perfect full course yellow. No, there's actually no need to red flag that session.
No.
Chuck a full course yellow. Someone runs out, grabs it, beauty. Turn it off. Keep
Way
going.
you go. And if there's an absolute disaster happening that for whatever reason you're not going to red flag it, which again,
well,
like
it's not
if
going to
there's
happen.
a disaster, you're red flagging it. But then a full course yellow, I completely understand.
But it is all trying to solve a problem that didn't necessarily exist.
No.
We haven't seen even close calls with cars piling off the road into other crash cars. It's just not something that it was trying to solve a problem that didn't really exist. Yes, like once the genie's out of the bottle, it's hard to put it back in because if something does happen then it's like, well, you know.
Told you so.
But I feel like we've created a bunch of problems trying to solve a problem that didn't exist.
Yep.
And now the work is how do you unpick that without going back to just letting guys race as hard as they can back to the pits when the safety car is called. Because we can't carry on like this. It will just kill the racing product. And, you know, there's a few options. The problem, you can close pit lane while the safety car's out, but you just completely turn the issue on its head and everyone will pit the lap. Yeah. The pit window opens.
Yep.
Because you won't want to risk getting hung out to dry if there's a safety car.
Correct. It's almost the exact opposite.
You just inverse exactly the same issue. Yep. The one thing that they really should do, and like sit down for this radical solution, is enforce double wave yellow flags that have been around forever and ever and ever, but enforce it properly and enforce it strictly.
Oh, and now if ever there is a time where we can actually do that, it's now, where we've got microsectors and all of this data that can be so overanalyzed, it's ridiculous.
You have to slow down by X amount. Now, the talk is that at some point, the ideal world is that there is a slow zone.
Yes.
That is digitally activated or electronically, or however you want to phrase it. But drivers also have complete control over their right foot.
Yeah.
They can just go, oh, there's double wave yellows. I need to slow down here. And if I don't slow down by enough, I'm going to get a drive-through penalty. And it's going to ruin my day. And it'll only take a couple of those, and they'll get real good at managing it really fast because these are highly skilled race car drivers.
It's kind of that discussion, I can't remember whether we had it on the pod or not, of, you know, the last race meeting that we were in, it was absolutely hosing with rain. It was a terrible day. We put on our big boy pants
and we went
car racing. Yeah. And then we watched the Formula One race
and they all sat
that
around.
evening, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And everyone sat around because, oh no, we're professional race car drivers and we can't possibly drive in the rain.
Yeah.
Because of safety issues. Well, if there's ever going to be a safety issue, it's in what we were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And if there's a double waved yellow at an event we're in,
you have to respect it.
You have to respect it or you get in trouble. And then all of a sudden, oh, well, no, we've got to have all of this. And there's more eyes on it and all that sort of stuff. But
not everything has to be controlled. They could just wave double wave yellows, and if someone doesn't slow down enough, they get in trouble. But that doesn't necessarily. I don't think the short-term solution will be quite that simple. No. But there's other options like, do you just close pit lane? Obviously, as I said before, you don't want to close pit lane while the safety car's out. But you could close it while the speed limiter's on.
Yes.
And then open it once the speed limiter goes off, so guys don't get that massive free kick.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something they'll look at. There was a whole heap of talk up and down the lane on Tuesday about what the solutions are, but I certainly don't think we'll just roll into the long distance races where strategy is the thing that will make a difference as to whether it's a good or bad race.
Yeah.
With this system that just boxes everyone into doing exactly the same thing. So that was one of the big talking points. There was a few other talks. There was some pretty spicy racing out there, apart from the fact that Brock was obviously so far down the road from everyone.
Let's ignore that.
And even in that Sunday race where he fell back to fourth, it was like, well, this is not. No one's going to stop him.
Didn't take long.
These blokes aren't going to stop this guy because no one can.
No, all they can hope for is that he jumps the start.
Yeah, that's
every
right.
Restart.
Yeah.
Which isn't actually a thing, really. But
so that's his speed was obviously pretty overwhelming, but
well, and T8 just are doing a very, very good job.
Yeah,
like Zach did an amazing job.
He did
in
great.
The wild card.
Yeah,
not entirely sure he'll be on his Christmas card list, but
no, well,
that was a bit weird.
They're normally like paddle pals.
I've heard your inability to establish what this sport is.
Well, I know what it is in my head. But
just can't express it.
Could get a bit feisty on the court. I think next time they rock up in Canberra somewhere
balls direct to the head
to go and have a bit of a slap around with the paddle. But it was that was obviously. I think there's been a lot talked about. I think when your own team boss comes out and says that was the silliest thing I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind that we are fully expecting Matt Stone not to be Cam Hill's team boss
next year anyway.
This season. So maybe that influenced Matt's enthusiasm to get out there and sort of say, no, I wasn't too pleased with that. But I don't think anybody in the world is sitting there going, oh, that was fine.
Yeah.
Like a bit of biff and barge is great, but
not in a straight line.
That's maybe taking it a bit too far, particularly when it was such clear retaliation for something. And we kind of saw that with the Will Brown Ryan Wood thing as well.
Yeah.
Although that was more a case of, I think, Ryan misjudging, I think he was trying to get Will out of shape.
Yeah.
To give him a bit back to get past him.
But Will got right out of shape.
Yeah, but this is something that's like, it's an underestimated skill to shift someone over legally and kind of cleanly. And Shane was always the master of it.
Yeah. And
what you saw from Ryan is it's not actually that easy.
No.
Because you can just turn the guy so quickly. But the point is not to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get him out of shape enough to pass him.
Yeah.
But that they keep going in the right direction so you don't cop a massive penalty for it.
I like it though. Like
for sure.
I think this is what we need. You know, there's a little rivalry starting to develop there between Ryan and Will. Ryan had a pretty good weekend.
Yeah,
really.
For sure.
You know, kind of as far as WAU went, he was sort of the stronger of the two.
He was.
And that I think that's only a good thing. Like that's great. It's going to get Mozzie on his toes, which that's also good.
This must be this is a real test for Mozzie.
Yeah.
Because he just has never had that competition from inside that garage before.
Yeah.
It is not the whole time he's been there. He's had it all his own way.
Yeah.
And this can be a good thing.
Yeah. It kind of moving on from this current weekend, like it just, I so hope this Toyota is going to be good.
Oh yeah,
because seeing Woody and Chaz up the front fighting with a couple of T8 Mustangs, and hopefully a couple of the Camaros as well. It's just going to be next year, like kind of after that weekend. I was like, next year could be really bloody good.
Woody is so good, and it's just getting so normal to see him. And like he topped the test on Tuesday as well, and it's just. There's nothing surprising about it. Or you don't go, oh, well, that's a funny quirk of whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, he does get the extra tyres in practice and that sort of stuff. But at some point.
Didn't on Tuesday.
Yeah. But like he's just doing a great job. Like he's just such a good race car driver and he's a really fun character.
He really seems to have
serving up to Gartander on the TV and that sort of stuff. Yeah. And the fact that he will go and bash doors with Will Brown on the cool down lap and we'll get out of the car and say like, you know, I felt I was done dirty and all that sort of stuff.
We need these characters in the sport.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're kind of a bit long overdue.
Yep.
For a while.
Yeah.
So Woody in a Toyota.
Yeah.
Just mixing it up.
Yeah.
Just because it's different.
Yep.
I think that'll be That'll be something to watch for.
I think so.
Next year.
I think so.
That'll be good.
What else do you want to talk about?
What was testing like? I haven't asked you this. How was Tuesday?
It was good. I mean, a
test day's a test day, but
yeah, it's always funny. You kind of, it's different to the preseason test. We even see it in the interest in terms of who's clicking on stories and stuff. The preseason test, everyone's like, oh, just can't wait to see its cars on track. Whereas this was very very different. Obviously, some people, pretty weary people, walking around Queensland Raceway that have been there since whatever day the previous week setting up. It's still there and still had a ride day to go on the Wednesday. But
well, and we left the circuit. What was it, about 7:30 on Monday night?
Yeah.
And there were still teams
doing the changeover and all
pit stop practice and all sorts of things on Monday night.
Yeah.
Let alone then rolling into Tuesday.
Yeah. So but look, it was a fairly uneventful day for the most part, which is what all these teams want on a test day. Zach Best beached the number 3 BRT car down at turn 3 at one point. Harry Jones went off at turn 6 in the I think it was Cub Cadet car on the weekend, not the DeWalt car, but he went off in that car, had to be pulled out, and
probably doesn't stop as well as the Porsche.
Actually I don't know if it was Cam Hill in the car, but the Hill car actually went off on the very last lap of the day.
Oh,
like as the checkered flag was
perfect,
which was I can't quite remember who was actually in that car. But that car went off right at the end of the day. But and there was Bryce Ford had an engine failure as well, so he missed about the last. I thought we hadn't seen the 14 for a while, and then saw Brad Vaughan in his civvies heading to the car park about an hour to go. And I don't think things are going too well down there. So an issue with the with that car, but better for it to happen at the test day than.
And then WAU ran the Super 2 cars.
Yeah, they're a bit flighty about this whole crankshaft situation. Test days and ride days where you're constantly in and out of the pits are hard on that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So they opted for the ride day. They did that, I think, for Sandown or something last year where they parked.
Yeah, okay.
They did. Oh no, I think it was after Gold Coast maybe. The ride day after that they didn't run their Gen 3 cars.
Yeah, right.
For the same reason. So yeah, they've got their. Obviously, teams that are changing brands are probably trying to stretch things out a little bit more.
Maybe.
So they've got their
reading
endurance
too much into that.
Yeah, they got their endurance engines in the car already, and they didn't want to. They didn't want to put the strain of doing the ride day. So you end up with Chaz Mostert and Ryan Wood in Commodores.
Yeah.
So they will. I think they actually drove them at Sydney at the ride day as well. But yeah, they will.
Okay,
depending on how the testing plan works out, they'll end up driving a Holden and a Ford and a Toyota in one calendar year, which is just a sort of
need
quirk
to get some Camaros, and they'd have a
just
box set.
Just a sort of quirk of what they're kind of what they're going through. And actually, speaking of Camaros, we should also talk about Team 18 and Super Cheap Auto.
Oh yes,
and Craig Lowndes.
Probably
the biggest part of that equation.
Of all of that.
Yeah, so this is
Craig's off to Team 18.
Yeah, so the Super Cheap program continues. 3 rounds is the plan next year. Sort of, I think they'll do exactly what they did this year. I think it'll look and feel a lot like what's been happening. It'll just be being run out of Melbourne and out of Team 18.
Come out of a different truck.
Yeah.
In all the announcements and everything that happened, was there any idea on who might be partnering with Craig at this stage?
No, Team 18 says, I mean, there's plenty of theories floating around. Team 18 says it has its shortlist.
Okay.
And it will submit that to Super Cheap, and then Super Cheap ultimately has, I don't know if final say, but they have a very large say in, because it becomes their brand ambassador sort of across that year. So there's some, there's been, I think the guys that have been talked about that could potentially be on Team 18's radar for the Reynolds seat if they decide not to stick with Reynolds, like those guys, you could feasibly be in the mix for that as well. It could be a good soft introduction for a Harry Jones.
Well, that's
or a Ryland Gray or someone like that to come in and do that. So,
might give Davey a stay of execution for kind of 12 months or so.
It might just be a way to do that. I mean, Harry would be kind of funny because it's all about this young kid getting a chance, and he's actually
all of a sudden
he's actually got his own kid.
Yeah.
So that's sort of it's a quirk of that situation as well. But the team obviously rate him enough to stick him in the car this year. I think they're going to have a real close eye on him at the Enduro. So I'm not saying that is what's going to happen, but it could be the soft landing for a Harry Jones or a Rylan Gray to sort of see exactly where they're at.
It'd kind of be a bit of an odd thing. I mean, I can't exactly recall, but I don't think anyone has been in that super cheap seat that has done a Enduro season previously.
No, well, that was,
I think
kind of
because that's the idea, right?
Well, Brock Fendy did, right? Did he not do Bathurst with JC in 2000?
Yes.
2000?
Yes. Well, not 2000.
Was he was born? No, he was not born in 2000.
Slip of the tongue.
Yeah. No, he was. So I'm pretty sure he did Bathurst.
Yeah, maybe. So maybe that's not as big a sort of hurdle as I thought.
Yeah. And I guess there's it's again, it's down to what Super Cheap want to do with this thing and who they think is going to do the job in the car.
I think it's great that Super Cheap have committed to the program. Yeah. Sure, they've moved the program, but they're committed to the program, committed to Craig for another couple of years, which I think is great.
Yeah, well, and that's where the commitment was really. I think they would have gone where Craig went.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously, once Craig made that commitment to GM, it was going to fall somewhere.
Logic
around
says
there.
It's going to be the HT.
And then, it does make sense if you're going to try and give as much support as possible to your homologation team, then this is a good way to do it, to sort of for everyone to come together and say, well, let's put this program here.
The fact though that it's all change. It was an opportunity for Super Cheap to go, you know what? Sort of, we're giving a bit of cash to WAU. We're giving a bit of cash to Triple Eight.
Yeah.
We're just gonna, pause this all and just have a bit of a think about it and reset. But they haven't. They've.
No, I think the draw of having a super cheap car on the grid at the Repco Bathurst 1000 is a pretty
it's a pretty solid thing.
Yeah, I think that's something that gets them pretty excited. So I sort of, it did feel like they would go somewhere with it.
Yep.
And then it became clear they go where Craig went, and then once Craig made his call, it sort of set the scene for where we're at now.
Yeah, which is great.
All right, what have you got in the way of announcements for us, Will?
So this is more of a call to the future. So keep an eye out on our website and our socials and your local stockists. We'll have our Indigenous offering for 2025 in the next couple of weeks. So won't be all the teams. There'll be a bit of a selection, but keep an eye out because there were a few pretty cool Indigenous liveries this year. So we'll roll those out in the next couple of weeks. So as I say, keep your eye on your socials. Don't forget to register your interest on our website so we know that you're after one, or place your order in nearest stockist.
Good plan. Let's move on to some listener/viewer questions, and we start with one for you, Will, and it's a name that I never quite know how I'm meant to pronounce. Isaconi. Yeah, this guy. We've had questions from him before.
Yeah, him. It's just written there.
Yeah. Anyway, is that the 88 and 89 Bathurst winning Sierras in 112 scale I can see in the background?
Don't know what you're talking about. Oh. don't know what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah, it's something that we've obviously been working on because they're sitting just there.
Yeah.
But there's a few little tooling quirks with that Group A era.
Yep.
Nothing was really always the same. So
there was some big differences between a lot of those cars back in those days.
There was, some of which we will tool up and some of which we just don't know about. So yeah, a bit of work still to be done. We weren't especially happy with them. So hence they're on the bottom shelf down there. But definitely something that could be coming in the future. All right, Wardy555 has a question for AVL. What is the likelihood of Sandown returning as an enduro? Surely the Endurance Cup would be better, being 3 events again like it was when the last Endurance Cup was done.
It would be, I think.
It's still the Sandown 500.
Yeah, which is an odd thing and a bit cheeky.
It
really,
is very cheeky.
The Sandown 500 is the Sandown 500, and what we're doing this year might be 500 kilometres
not
racing at Sandown, but it's not the Sandown 500. No. So the likelihood of it returning there, you never know. I guess it depends on what the medium to long-term future of the circuit is.
Yep.
This thing at the Bend is something that Shaheen's been pushing for a long time. Remember, it was meant to happen in 2020.
Yeah.
So Sandown had already been dumped as an enduro for 2020, and then the world went topsy-turvy, and then and everything kind of went out the window. But so I guess it'll depend a lot on how what sort of product we get from a 2-driver race at the Bend. But I mean, money speaks.
Yep.
It's if the Shahins can put forward the right bid to have that race, that's the race that they're going to have. And I don't mean that critical in any way. No. That's just this is the
economics of
it. Yeah, the economics of how motorsport works. So, and I just think with the question marks over Sandown, like I don't. Yeah, it's
hard for Supercars to commit, right?
If you were going to put another one in, it would probably be. I think the Gold Coast has kind of just moved on from the 2-driver thing, and like you could argue that it doesn't really need it.
No,
like it's just such a great event anyway.
On its own. I like the idea of having like. When you're calling something a series or, endurance cup, whatever you want to call it, like it needs to be more than 2 races.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then it's, okay, we've got this final system now. How do you do a 3-round?
Just gets too short.
Yeah, correct.
And the
you got to bring it
the
forward
regular season, so to speak, the Sprint Cup is already short enough as it is.
Yeah.
And then you also... You kind of want to leave, as unlikely as it is, and it's so unlikely, but you kind of want to leave the wild card of the fact that someone could actually be outside the top 10 of the points.
Yeah.
But win the Endurance Cup.
Yeah.
And the more rounds you add to that, they're just going to score too many points and they're just going to definitely be in the top 10 anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it just leaves the door, it's so unlikely. Yeah. You'd have to be so far behind going there to bank that many points and not creep into the 10.
Yeah.
The point, this is something that is annoying me at the moment. This is like...
I love it when you're annoyed.
There is this absolute insistence that only drivers with 600 points or more are locked into finals right now. And it makes no sense.
No.
Because if you're sitting... Cam Waters is 4th in the points, right?
Yep.
Now, he does not have a 600-point lead.
No.
But only one primary driver can score 600 points at the Enduros. 6 of them can't.
Yeah.
It can't happen.
Yeah.
So someone can come from 11th and beat him.
Yeah.
But what about all the other guys that are below him? They just get shuffled down a spot as well.
Yeah.
So he's actually already mathematically safe because there's not a combination of points enough to drop him further than 9th. So even if he was 9th at the end of Bathurst, that would then take someone from outside the 10 winning the Endurance Cup. And even then he'd only go to 10th.
Yeah.
So he's locked in.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, no, you have to be 600 points ahead.
No.
It makes no sense. It's a very complicated, and to be honest, everyone down to about 7th is pretty much done. Or at least I think down about Brody is. History suggests it just won't happen.
Yeah.
But mathematically,
you have a shocking Enduro Cup.
Yeah.
And basically score 0.
Because you also, it's not. If 6 drivers finish ahead of me, I'm in stripe. It needs to be the exact 6 drivers behind you. In the exact right order.
Yeah.
Like if you can get that on at the TAB,
you're
going
set.
big time. Let's put it that way. So it's kind of it's an interesting thing. That's one of my. I don't know why everyone keeps saying, well, these guys are locked in. Well, it's complicated, but it's not that hard to go. No, there's actually 4 cars that are already done.
Yeah.
But it'll take us a while to get our head around how all this sort of stuff works.
Speaking of being angry about things, we didn't discuss the Sprint Cup and how that got executed and stuff what the trophy looked like. Anyway,
it was the trophy.
There is some frustration in this office about the Sprint Cup.
I don't know why the Australian Touring Car Championship history isn't represented in the Sprint Cup trophy. I don't know why we're celebrating. I get the Repco, Brabham link.
Yep.
But
surely
why is it a Formula 1 steering wheel? And also, it's not even a cup.
No.
It's called the cup. It's not a cup. It's a steering wheel.
Well, and then
you can drink out of that, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah. And then it was just so kind of not executed in terms of celebrating the champion.
I don't find that as outrageous.
No,
as maybe others.
Again, I'm
not even just on this set, but in this office in general. Yeah. But it's look at you, Tristan. But it's. Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't mind the way they sort of did it, but it also didn't help that Brock wrapped it up.
Yeah, but again,
like wrapped it up so easily on the Saturday morning.
NASCAR do such good celebrations of just a race win.
Yeah.
And then we've actually got a reason to celebrate something finally, and then we kind of didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, another question for you. Justin Alden asks, what goes into deciding whether a car is worthy of turning into a model? Are there criteria used to determine whether it justifies the production? I can answer this. Will it make money?
Can I sell it?
Do we have the rights to it?
And can I make money?
And can I make money?
Yes. I mean, that long and the short of it is that's the answer.
He's just taking your money, Justin. That's all he's here for.
No, everything, there is the ability to do anything and everything, really. because that's sort of why we have our resin programs.
Yeah.
You know, the Landau we wouldn't have been able to do if we were doing it in die cast. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. We'd be able to do it in die cast, but you'd be paying $1,000 a unit.
Yeah.
If not more. So it just comes down to the economics of it. But doing things in resin give us that ability to basically do anything. So then it just comes down to really the personal preferences of the guys in our office as to what kind of gets prioritised and what doesn't. If we're then going to go and do a die-cast program, then it's obviously just having the sort of $250,000 sitting in my back pocket to be able to go and tool it up with the view that, you know, I'm not going to get my money back on that for another 5 years or so.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's kind of everything's an option. It kind of comes down to personal preference a little bit, how much you guys bang on about it in comments and what have you of telling us what we can and can't do or what we should do. That just helps us decide what's next kind of thing. Okay, Ken McKell asks AVL, should the federal and or state governments assist supercars more financially to ensure a greater number of rounds occur in Australia?
Is that, I think
Ken O'Kell?
Jay Warburton.
Yeah.
Jay Warburton asking
Sydney?
this question, I reckon. I mean, yeah, so that's what would ensure it. Like if the Queensland government came along tomorrow and said, here's a bunch of money to please make sure Ipswich stays on the calendar, it's done. That conversation with the teams gets a whole bunch easier and then we're up and away. So, you know, like we saw crowd figures go out for Perth this year because there's obviously a big push to really keep the WA government motivated with this street race plan that's well and truly in the works and all that sort of stuff. So, yes, that is the Supercars operates, you know, it's paid for by TV money and government money. Yeah. That's realistically how it works.
Not so much federally. Like, federal government doesn't really get involved in anything that we do.
Well, that's really
maybe
only,
the Prime Minister turning up to Bathurst to boom and stand on the grid.
It's really only in New Zealand where it's federal government. And that was only a change that came post-Pukekohe. And that was always the tricky part of expansion in New Zealand was the fact that I forget their states aren't called states. They're called
something else.
Counties or they're called
regions,
economic regions. There's some of the thing. But that was paid for by Auckland.
Yeah.
So once Auckland didn't want there to be a second round somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because that was part of their deal.
Yep.
Once Pukekohe went away, supercars could go and canvass the federal government, and now they've been able to build a situation where they can have 2 rounds there. So, anyway, to answer your question, Ken/James, yes, some more government assistance would certainly ensure that we have more events, and it would make this issue of payment to teams, go much more easily if you just had heaps of money to throw at them.
Yep.
Question for Will from Jordan Trelaw. What was the inspiration for the name Authentic Collectables when you started? Love the show. Thank you for making the best quality models on the market. I'm going to guess like bargain basement rip-off models probably was taken already? Or
probably wouldn't have flown.
Yeah.
First, thank you for your kind words there towards the end. As for AC, I can't honestly remember how we came up with it. It was originally called Hall Collectables. All of our financials that we started were all Hall Collectables, and everyone told me that was rubbish.
That is pretty rubbish.
It was pretty rubbish. But it ticked the boxes when I was trying to get all the paperwork going.
Antiques, something out in Dalesford or something like that.
Needed something to take to take so that we could get this stared.
Well, that's a very motor racing thing. Everything's, you know, like Racing Team Australia, proprietary limited trading is
Van Leeuwen Motorsport.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it was then we just had a bit of a brainstorm. I think it was just Tristan and I at my house. We were just having a bit of a brainstorm and Authentic starts with A. That puts us at the top of the list.
Oh, you're thinking about the yellow pages.
Yeah, thinking about the yellow pages.
That's where people buy their models from.
Well, I mean, we create authentic product, so it just it seemed to fit.
Yeah, that's a good question. All right, tell us about your auctions.
So another couple of auction items that'll go up this month. We won't put them out together. We'll split them across the month. So we've got Will Brown's 2021 race 28 winner. So when he was back in the ZB, I reckon we were all doing that 4-round SMP bonanza.
Beating his team boss now. Yes. Holding off those Triple
Holding
Eight
off
cars.
the Triple Eight cars. Probably how you got the gig eventually.
Yep.
And then, given that we're heading off to the Bend as our next round, we've got a Thomas Randall car from the 2021 OTR Super Sprint. So both of those pre-production models, probably not the most perfect sample, given that I said that authentic because we make authentic product. These two may not be as authentic as they should be, but that's what pre-production models are all about. So check out our website, click on the current auctions tab, and yeah, place a bid, and hopefully you can take one of those home.
All right, well, that will do us for this week, Will. We've got to get down to Collie to go car racing this weekend.
We do. I need to go off this afternoon and do a setup on my jigger so that I can remain competitive with you.
It was going all right last time.
It was going all right last time. I have a feeling that
actually maybe wind a bit more front bias back into it. Actually, I was just thinking of this weird thing to think in the shower. I was like, did I put the bias all the way back? I'm going to check that before we roll out.
This is what happens when you're in the shower getting wet. It was very reminiscent of where we were at Wanneroo a couple of weekends ago. I think it's going to be very dry this round, though.
Is it?
Yes.
I hadn't even looked at the weather.
Yeah, no, it's going to be dry.
That's a shame.
Which is a shame.
That's really bad. Anyway, that's enough of that nonsense. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Remember to submit a comment with that code word for your chance to win $250 gift card, and we'll see you next time.